This is a very unhealthy wick too. This is a complete rejection. Anyway, we're sitting up here fighting. We're feeling real good. And then Asia smokes a big old joint, has a double shot of whiskey, and boom, sells it on us back to underneath this bear flag, right? This should probably be red. Now we're back in and getting a little bit of support from the 20, maybe the 50. If it all breaks like on 8:30 when the market opens, we'll see a little bit of volatility. I would expect a bounce at 103.2. Now, if we don't get a bounce from 103.2 and we break down into this channel of descension, well, it would make sense that we would probably fulfill this channel of descension support at 98K. You know, these weird things kind of line up every now and then, but it really is on a monthly chart. I would, you know, I could see right here a lot of traffic at this 94K-ish.
3 days later.
Lord love a duck if she didn't do just that. Sitting here at 95K, hey, you know, that's just what the charts say. I shouldn't have written it in. You're right. I shouldn't have written it. I should even stop probably doing TA. If all the TA is going to come true to the downside, why don't you just stop doing TA? Problem solved. Now, I do have an exercise in exorcism. You might say this will make everyone feel good because this is what the inner Bitcoin hodler is experiencing right now. I guarantee you this will cleanse your palate of frustration if you haven't already seen it. But this sums it up perfectly.
I'm down $109,000 buying MicroStrategy. Are you kidding me? They said it was the better Bitcoin. They said it was the implied volatility on top of Bitcoin. Yeah. How am I down 48% in the last 3 months? What's Bitcoin's price right now? Bitcoin's down 6% this year! How does that even work? What happened to pumping the actual stock? He's selling it to buy Bitcoin! What happened? The NDAV is below 1! Michael Saylor, you're a scammer! You're a scammer! I can't believe I bought it! I bought the top of the shit!
Tshirts.
I hate Bitcoin! I hate Michael Saylor! I hate every digital asset treasury company that's ever existed! You're all pieces of shit! You deserve to go to jail, you absolute criminal!
There it is. That is, let's just get his face. That, like, you got the veins popping out. You can tell it's coming from a very method acting type of a point of view. You can tell he really feels what this is not an act. This is exactly how he's feeling and how we're all feeling. And if you go around crypto Twitter, there's a ton of cope going on because there's a certain degree of expectation that hasn't been made, right? And I understand that because I feel the disappointment too. But, you know, there's our mistake, or there's my mistake, is the expectation, right? It's like women in sewing circles telling each other that they deserve their dreams to come true and their princesses and be happy. No one deserves anything. We can strive for happiness. We can strive for our dreams to come true, but we don't naturally are guaranteed it. We're not naturally guaranteed a blow off top on a bull market. Now, it still could happen. You know, like if you look at some of these charts, I mean, where's the one that I put in there? Is this the one? Yeah. So we got some numbers still left there to click off, you know. Got some numbers there to click off. That's where those, those kooky Asians will buy, start buying at 88K. They're waiting. Look, we threw a little baby wick underneath this channel of descension. Finding a bottom, Now, this is where things get super bizarre because I had to adjust this bull market indicator or this bear market indicator. This is where we take the low, the market high and the current low, and we go to the 38.2%. Now it was 109. Now it is 106.5. Now look where it is. It's right at this channel of descensions resistance. So there's a double confluence there. Actually, if we were just to drag this out to, you can almost see there's, this tiny little, this is the bear flag that we broke out of, which does play out till 88K. So that's what the TA says, 88K. But there are some confluence there at that 106. So now it's 106 that we got to get through to, break the market structure. But it's the humble opinion of this piano. The market structure is broken. And now that's not 4-year cycle cope. It's just the difference of what type of money is coming in. Now, I've said this before, and there's a lot of cope about long-term sellers. Well, it's a long-term sellers. Like anything's supposed to make sense, It's because this is why long-term holders selling doesn't make sense, because you might, or we might, or they might refer to long-term holders as the smart money. Now, I've always said, if you bought 1,000 Bitcoins in 2011 because a Pokemon cost 2,000 or 500, but you had an extra, 500 Bitcoins because you bought Pokemon in 2011, doesn't make you smart money. The fact that you held it till now kind of makes you a little bit of a legend, but it's not smart money. So it's not like they bought Pokemon for 500 Bitcoins in 2011 and they became, economic geniuses, right? So them selling doesn't make sense, but it does in a sense because they don't know anything, right? Think about this. Why wouldn't they, if they're all selling, why wouldn't they just hold it for a parabolic run? Let's say, you know what we should do? We should squash our upside in this bull run. We'll just all dump, when the market's about to, do its thing, we'll just dump it. We won't let it go parabolic. We'll just dump instead. Now, that being said, Drew, I can't hear you right now. I think you're muted. Oh, there you are. Boys? What do you think about the dump last night?
Well, pretty wild, for sure. I am a risky biscuit, so let me see if I'm going to back up my camera a little bit. A little too zoomed in. So I have a hedged long position in case this is a bounce point, but honestly, man, the idea of cheaper Bitcoin gets me aroused. I'm not going to lie. I was one of the guys that was complaining Max Payne was up only on the way up. And now seeing the sentiment hit extreme fear gets me quite bullish in the sense that I can flip my thesis if we lose 89K and print more Tether and get cheaper Bitcoin, right? So the long term is, I feel very strongly in my heart that Bitcoin's going to $1 million. The timeline, yes, it's sad and crazy. If we end up having this be the blow off top at 126, that'll basically mean that there was no retail left. There was no small man money. There was no blow off top. There was no euphoria. And it's basically just an institutionally controlled game with the upside mostly being in DeFi and Bitcoin. So the idea of us going to those realms does make me excited. I would be adding, I'm watching if we can hold above $90,000, Matty. That's kind of what I'm feeling like is my line in the sand, 89, 90,000 bucks. There's that stupid CME gap at 92K that looks like we're on the way to filling. So, with that being said, I got hedges on both sides of this equation right now, and I am unafraid. I am unbothered. I'm moisturized. I am excited to be alive, and I personally would like cheaper Bitcoin. Me personally, I would like cheaper Bitcoin, and I'm not selling my Solana. I'm not selling my Morpho. I'm not selling my Aerodrome. Look, those bags are basically moon bags at this point because I've been taking profits along the way. And that's what I think a lot of people lost the plot in, is taking profits along the way so that it eases the pain in this hyper tense scenario that we're in right now. So, you know, if it goes to hell in a handbasket, fine, but I don't see that my thesis has changed. I don't see that the use case of DeFi has changed. It's only gotten stronger. I don't see the idea of Bitcoin as a reserve asset getting weaker either, because now, just yesterday, a couple countries actually started actively buying Bitcoin for their own reserves, right? So it's a very, very interesting time. Quite ironic that we're rolling into this max fear moment right after XRP release its, ETF. And we have November 22nd, Swift's going live with Chainlink. It's kind of hilarious that those things happen right as we begin the bear market process. So I am selling? No. I have already been selling on peaks, Mike Looney. So I am very, very comfortable in my position. And honestly, like, my cost basis on Chainlink is about 390. So it would take an absolute cataclysm to even put me down on that position.
Right.
Cost basis on Morphos at 87 cents. It would take an absolute cataclysm for that to be down from what's left on that. And Aerodrome's cost basis is 30 cents, right? Because I've only been buying pain. I have only been interested in buying when everyone's been leaving the room. And that keeps my cost basis on these charts very, very low. And I think a lot of capitulation, a lot of the fear, a lot of the complaints come from people that true and tried just top blast charts and then complain when they're surprised the market takes a breath down. So it is what it is.
It truly is a weird psychology, like, because I hear it all the time. Whenever the price goes down, I get calls from people who are really, their cost basis is like 50, 60, 70. So they're kind of late to the game if you compare it to someone pre-2020. But every time it comes down, I tell them the same thing. It's like, well, this is traditionally a pretty good time to pick up a little bit more if you have a dry powder. And their answer is always the same. Yeah, I'm going to wait till it goes up a bit. I'm like, well, how does that even make sense?
It's just the mindset of people that will be on the sidelines or have lesser bags than the big ones. It's a mindset shift that people need to be able to actually enact in their real life. Like, it's easy to say, oh, if it were to go down to that price level, I'd buy it. But when we do go down to those price levels, very few people are interested in buying. And I get up on stage, I'm like, yeah, I'm buying, and I actually feel like I'm longing right now with the stop loss, of course. So I still have Tether to mess with if it fails. And you know what? The idea that leverage traders that are messing around with 10, 20,000 bucks in Tether are causing the failure of a bull market to happen is absolutely insane and honestly a little retarded, because the real mechanisms at play that are pushing the price down day in and day out are behind Binance and Wintermute and market wash trading, selling the products and dropping the price. Then they move into Asian hours and the weekend hours and they pump it back up. It's just this rinse and repeat process. And maybe what we're seeing right now is CZ and Binance, and everyone says, oh, CZ's not connected. Okay, you're right. It's his wife that's the second in charge now, right? Huge separation. One of the biggest shareholders
they don't
of the
talk.
company.
They're Asian. They don't talk. Men and women don't talk.
No, they don't talk at all. They're not doing the same thing. How is that wash trading even legal? It's not. And honestly, it shouldn't be. I think this market regulation that's coming in at the end of the month might affect what Binance and Wintermute are able to do, which is why that might be the reason why the mice are playing while the cat's away, right? And the cat is coming home in the form of the U.S. government and market regulation, because it does have an interest to put assets from Microsoft, IBM, Blackstone, all these giant corporations on chain, and they do not want a centralized exchange with control of 70% of the liquidity and the ability to absolutely demolish the markets on a whim. So that cat is coming home at the end of this month. It'll be interesting to see how that's handled. But this might be CZ trying to make sure that the bear market comes on time and the 4-year cycle remains intact. We'll see who wins, but it's a hell of a battle to watch.
Here's a macro question. For instance, when I think of the politics of economics, I think if there's any hope for Trump's administration to, let's just take away all the horrible sentiment that is deservingly so to his administration, but let's just pretend that he has to make these midterms pump, so to speak. If we see him do everything to the economy, like we see a reset of like the manufacturing, everything comes in bullish. It's almost like we've restarted in 2026. Do you think that can affect this 4-year cycle, or is a bear market a bear market?
No, I mean, I do think that can affect it. We have the midterm elections coming up. There's a lot of political reasons to inject liquidity into the markets. To the Republicans here in America during these local elections on a commission and mayoral level got demolished, right? So Democrats are taking advantage of just the state of the economy, pandering to people's feelings, and they actually found success on a very local level with the elections that happened just about a month ago. So the midterm elections in the Senate are going to be very, very important for Trump to actually be able to enact or do anything that he wants to do for the remainder of his presidency. So he has got to pour gasoline on the fire of hope to bring people to the polls in that idea that the economy is starting to get better, because the average person is not doing well. They are working Uber jobs. Their job has been done away with by automation from AI. And it's a reality where we have a disconnect from where Wall Street profits are going and what the average person in retail is feeling right now, because Main Street is dying while, the top 3% of companies are continuing to absorb every single ounce of upside that there is, and building out systems to make sure that people's automated jobs are created within the next 5 years. It's a hell of a thing to watch. And this is why it's like so important, not only like just spot holding and long-term vision of Bitcoin, I think is very important, but also decentralized finance, DeFi, and getting involved with those things. Like I have bags of Morpho and Arrow for a reason, because my generalized plan is once I see boringness come to the market, then I'm going to put them into DeFi pools, earn more yield on those tokens, because those are two infrastructural products behind Coinbase that I think are going to be here for quite some time. So that is the general thesis. And I also think Solana's here for a very, very long time. It's here to stay from the looks of it. And so I bought Solana a while back, and I also added some DeFi mechanisms within the Solana ecosystem as well, just to make sure that I have pieces of that infrastructure that can take off. Yes, they're at extreme, extreme lows, and I just bought them, and some people think I'm insane for doing so, but this is how I can make money, is by buying important pieces of infrastructure that are extremely undervalued. Very, very simple.
It's almost like the thesis in the bear market about Bitcoin being that parachute of safety has taken on a different meaning with the advent of AI. Because back in the bear market, AI was sci-fi, right? It was like, it's coming in the future, but it came at us so hard and fast that now Bitcoin, like as a parachute and hedge against almost everything, takes on a little bit of different meaning, because when everyone's on UBI or whatever, it'll probably be a more pleasing name than, like, think about universal basic
they're calling
income.
It universal standard income.
Oh, that's slightly better.
Slightly better. They're trying it out in San Francisco right now. It's the same shit. They're having to roll out universal standard income for basically to pad the sadness that's going to come from the great replacement, right? The great replacement being AI, automation, higher profit margins for corporations.
I thought you were talking about immigration.
No, well, I mean, that as well. It's also going in that form, but the great like the hardcore quick replacement is going to be technological. It's going to be an automation of customer service agents, real estate agents, anything that is an administrative process that can be automated and verified and handled basically within an AI algorithm data set is host. Like, there is no way to put it other than that. And this is why I got out of HR 8-10 years ago. This is why I got out of all those things, because I saw that technology was moving at such a fast pace of advancement that those types of positions outside of just some people there for basic oversight were basically going to be done away with. And I got kids to take care of, right?
How was working with a whole group of Karens in HR in your early days. How enjoyable was that?
Oh, I mean, when we were in like the economic boom of Trump's 2016 timeframe, I mean, we were just printing money, right? The worker was the one that was sought after, and the companies had to outbid each other for good workers, especially in the construction industry. I was in the scientific side of cannabis in the Colorado region for the massive expanse of factories out there for that.
Head hunting or
Hiring scientists.
human resources?
Both
Okay.
headhunting and human resources. Yeah. So it was something that it was a really good way to print money when the economy was really hot, 2016, 2017. And then now things have shifted where the person is no longer the sought after item in the conversation of employment, right? It's the company that is sought after. You have hundreds, if not thousands, of applicants, and people get lost in the noise. And to top it off, they are using AI to look at your resume. You don't have a human looking at your resume. Oh, maybe we should, give this a chance. They have set parameters that they type into the little HR expectations for what kind of candidate they want, and it probably includes DEI intentions. And then they sort you out and disclude you from the options of a candidate to hire based on those same metrics. So this is why we have to take more power into our own hands to figure out ways of making our own yield, making our own moves on these charts, and really looking forward to the future. I still feel like nuclear energy, data centers, and then moving beyond where we're at right now, nanotechnology in the healthcare sector is going to be a very, very, very good upside potential in terms of advancements, because that's going to be coming around 2028, 2030. And nanobots are in development right now to be implemented into humans. So it's a crazy time to be alive. You better buckle up. You better buckle up and pay attention.
It is. It's insane. Now I've had a bunch. We're gonna take a look at some actual sentiment on the political side, which is unbelievable. But I've put in a lot of arbitrary doodles in my day. This channel's known for having the best doodles in the business, but this one's kind of the scariest. Like I drew this one in who knows how long ago. And look how it's following this. But this is where it gets even more scary. So this runway would bleed all retail out. Can you imagine if we just kind of consolidated here until next year?
Right. Yeah. I mean,
no way.
Retail isn't even here December. Right now.
Yeah, this would only be December. But let's say
be December. Okay.
Look how this. So this is that 38.2%. I whenever I come on your show, I always ad nauseum harp about the relief rally up to 38.2%. It's actually at this doodle that was drawn like when this whole thing didn't even exist. There's the eyes. There's 38.2. The new one is 106. Will be the relief rally, because you can imagine how this makes sense, how this plays out. Over 100K, everyone's back. We're back, right?
Right.
And then it pumps to 106, gets rejected, and then we're gonna have to recount or realign ourselves. But speaking of we are back, take a look at this. So this is the White House. Oh, you can't see it. God damn it.
Oh.
Anyway, it says we are back. Here, maybe if I here we go. It says we are back. Come on, Jesus Christ. This is so stupid. It says we are back, right? But I'm a comment dweller, right? I immediately go into the comments and take a look at these
the responses.
Okay, so here we go. Jewish Hands type this. Leonardo Joni, no, we're not. Have you ever seen her videos? They're actually hilarious.
I'll watch I'll
Ashley, she's in the crypto sphere. Your administration single-handedly killed the bull market. True. And then here's a little optimistic guy. We never left. We're so back. Right. And then Michael Flynn Jr. Number of arrests, Russian collusion hoax, 0. January 6th, 0. Mar-a-Lago raid, 0. Biden auto pen, 0. 2020 election, 0. On and on and on, 0. This is what's killing the administration too. The fact that there's been no repercussions for anything.
That's what's actually killing the administration. That thing up there that you just showed, the 0 arrests on all of the wrong that's been
Epstein,
done.
0.
Right? Like that's what's actually killing the administration. And Kash Patel is not helping, especially with some of his stuff that is coming out. It's not looking good. So As far as Trump and his sons ruining the bull market, really, you guys need to turn your eyes to CZ. I really do wish that people would understand. Here's just to clarify. On October 10th, at peak fear, peak volume, peak trading, Binance pulled liquidity and they control 70% of the liquidity across exchanges. They pulled that liquidity across the board in a flash crash, right? They have the ability to nuke altcoins and hit 10%, 15% pullbacks on Bitcoin on a whim. And they are doing it. They're doing it time and time again. Wintermute and Binance just did another wash trade move on, I think, Monday or Tuesday. And while it happened, get this, Matty. So everyone pines on Arkham Intelligence for being the savior to show them what's going on chain, right? And to get the Wintermute alerts. Wintermute on Arkham Intelligence went fucking down right before it happened. They literally just said, something went wrong here on my screen for a span of 2 hours. And in that 2 hours, mega dumps. And then it goes back online and I'm able to look back into the history. Lord love a duck, as you always say. Wintermute and Binance. Sell. Huge fucking bags of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. And when they do that, it affects the rest of the altcoins very, very heavily. This is the reality of the situation that everyone wants to complain about Trump doing it. It is literally the strongest exchange on the planet acting nefariously in wash trading. In my opinion. This is, of course, my opinion. But
and the brutal irony of it all, which is hard to even let these words out of my mouth, but the brutal irony of the wash trading debacle we're seeing was trying to be prevented by
Elizabeth Warren. Well, but
worse.
No, but she was talking about anti-money laundering. What do you think? Who was it?
Dirty Gary Gensler.
Oh!
Imagine he's on some beach right now drinking some Mai Tai going, hey guys, all I tried to do was protect you from these wash trading son of a guns and, you hated me. The first thing you did was get rid of me. I hate saying it, but there's some truth to it.
Oh my God. Gary, we need you back.
Please, Gary. Sorry. I'm in Fiji drinking Mai Tais.
Yeah.
Enjoy your exchanges, everybody.
Yeah. The whole fight against Gary Gensler within the crypto space was to protect XRP. And look what fucking XRP Ripple does. They have 80% of the supply and Ripple just dumps on the people that believe in the project, which is super aggravating for me. So I have loved ones that are heavily into XRP, and it aggravates the shit out of me to see Brad Garlinghouse doing this over and over again. It's not something I want to see. It's not something I want to talk about. And we rah-rah-rah'd and supported Ripple and XRP, got rid of Gary, and now Binance is running amok. CZ's got a pardon. Binance is based out of Canada. But really, they're kind of all over the place, so it's hard to pin down a location, but
he's
CZ's
a dual citizen, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think that Binance is in Canada because if they were, and here's the reason, if they were, I'd be able to be on Binance. But you can't, as a Canadian, you can't really trade on Binance. About 2023, I had a Binance exchange open. I didn't have anything on it, but I had an email saying you have to get everything off because we're not going to be working with Canada. So they're not in Canada for sure. So I think they're offshore. That's why they're able to do the things they do. Yeah. I could be wrong, though. If anyone's in Canada here, let me know if you can't do anything on Binance.
He's a dual citizen. I think his other citizenship, isn't it China? Yeah. So how is he able to have a hand in anything to do with Binance if he's a Canadian citizen? And Canadian citizens can't access the platform.
Because it's offshore.
Right, but he's still a citizen. It's just, there's so many things. My point is about this whole Binance concentration is they have too much power. And the US government has intentions to do things on chain to smooth out the process and open up liquidity to billions, if not trillions of dollars in assets. There's a reason why billionaires and trillion-dollar bags want liquidity and be able to chunk off, take little pieces of the real estate, turn it into liquidity, do the investment somewhere else, is because a lot of the design of our current market makes these massive, massive valuations illiquid, right? So RWAs offer that portion of the assets to be utilized in another investment that they want to go do. And it opens up that movement for them. So they're going to figure out a way to do it. But yeah, it's a hell of a time.
Now, even more irony to this. I was just thinking, imagine if some of the regulations Dirty Gary Gensler was trying to put into an emerging market that looked like the legacy market, as in, so for instance, when you're trading gold, you know, you don't see scamwicks going down and nuking all the traders, right? So imagine if his intentions to regulate this Wild West would have been the catalyst that kept the price of Bitcoin just going straight up, because the fundamentals were there. And anytime we got dumped on, it was usually coming from a Binancean scam wick of sorts. You know, it goes out for 2 hours. If none of that was it, and that'll never change because there's no repercussions.
Right.
Except for sentiment.
Yeah, it's something that really makes you think about it, you know, and it's a systemic risk to crypto. This concentration of liquidity is, by all means, in my opinion, a systemic risk to crypto. So it's something like, I feel eventually Bitcoin's going to completely change the world, but we're not going to get there until this elephant in the room is dealt with. Epstein files over and under. What you think? Are we going to actually get them?
I don't think we can get them because it would dismantle the power apparatus in a heartbeat, right? So whether it's innuendo, accusation, like it's been used for millennia. You paint someone with the pedo brush, they're never going to get that paint off, whether they're innocent or guilty. And now I would say that the majority of them are guilty. It's a club that they're initiated into, and one of the initiations is that whether they're willing or unwilling, they don't know that they're doing it. You know, it's kind of like, I always call them unremarkable retards. You take one of these men who have never, you know, had a girl hit on them, put them in a party and have some super beautiful young girl hit on them that's actually 16 or something, but they're dressing her up like a 21-year-old. They're initiated. And it's like the good news is you had one night of ecstasy with someone who was out of your league. The bad news is we got you. Now you're going to play ball, or, you know, we'll just do this. So this was the greatest leverage that we've ever seen. That's why I'll never come out.
Run for president. I really, I do feel like I could run for president. And I want someone, if it's not me, someone that is unbuyable, that doesn't think with their dick and doesn't end up with blackmail, you know. That would be really, really good. That would be really, really good. And I've been an odd man out. Even when I was a heavy metal singer, girls were throwing themselves at me and I wasn't interested until I saw my wife. I chased her around. I didn't chase her around, but I hugged her too long. We hugged at a show, and she had a boyfriend at the time. So I was like, all right, you know, I'm gonna step back. You know, I'm not gonna try to fuck.
What is a too long hug? 2 Mississippis?
It was like 10 seconds. It was a 10-second
10
hug.
10 Mississippis?
10 Mississippis. 10 Mississippi.
It's pretty long.
It was pretty long. And so, but she had a boyfriend at the time, and I was like, all right, you got a boyfriend. Her boyfriend hated me because I just got back from touring and I just played with Slipknot, and he was this, you know, he was in the same band bracket, and they were all pissed at me for actually making it out onto the road. So I came back into town, hugged her too long. Then 2 years later, I saw that she was single. I waited for the Facebook post. I left him.
Notifications on.
And then she liked a meme that I posted. She liked a meme that I posted. It was on.
Yeah. You know, right there.
Came on. Yeah. And so I hit her up, and our first date was at a burlesque show where the dancers were dancing to my music. and they all try, like the dancers try to come up to me and schmooze me, and I just grabbed
That
her and just
organized?
gave her. Yeah, yeah. I mean, well, I was just sitting in the crowd watching, and they were dancing to the music. But then, they all came up and tried to get with me, and I just pulled her next to me and gave her a big old kiss. I was like, "Yeah, show was great," And then, it was history ever since then. I basically refused to leave. She held me off. I didn't really, get intimate with her for months. I just stood around her house, cleaned her house, went and found a really good job in downtown Denver, showed her that I was serious about it, and I still got her 11, 12 years later. So I think this world needs men that don't think with their dick only to lead the country. And it is a hard man to find. I know, because it's a very, I don't I don't relate with a lot of the guys in music because they are in it for that stuff. I even don't relate with a lot of people in crypto because they're in it for that stuff, the clout, the fame, the girls. They want the Lamborghini, they want all this useless shit. Um, but I think I could pull it off. I think I could pull it off. And maybe I'll have to do a Gaddafi style presidency in a Christian version of it here in the US, but I'm here for it. I'm ready for it. I've lived a
Well,
good
this
life.
is why I don't think it'll happen.
Okay.
Despite your good intentions, you have 4 liabilities. So they won't be able to touch you because you'll die on the hill that you represent. But then as they're walking out of the meeting, they'll say, "Oh, I mean, it'd be a shame if something happened to your kids though." And at that point,
Yeah.
that's where
And
the knee
then
gets
I
bent.
take that as a deadly threat. And you know what? Like, this is the thing that men need to stand up for, because I have absolute control of my property through near military style means. And if it was easy, everyone would do this. I understand what you're saying, to back off if the kids are involved. Guess what? My kids are surrounded by a pit bull cane corso, cameras, trip wires on the perimeter of my property. The trees have cameras on them. I am not viable, and I do not think that we should bow our head on the potential of something. And this is how we've gotten to this point of control, is by generalized fear. America is ready for the mullet. America is ready for the mullet. I absolutely do think so. I see E-Money in the chat there. So if someone wants to threaten my kids, they're going to have a very real repercussion, not from me threatening them back or anything like that. Like, you threaten my kids, that gives me quite an opening there to exercise my skills. So,
Unfortunately,
say it that way.
Politics circumvents strong men. So the reason why these unremarkable retards enter into politics, because it's a little gangbang of nerds that they'll say, if we get together, we can maybe change the rules so these strong men can't really, win all the games or get the cheerleaders all the time. It's a lot of pent up anger from unremarkable retards, and they end up going into politics, and that's why all of them look the way they do. If you look at the physiognomy of all these politicians, you won't see like a representation of what people would say is handsome or beautiful. It gets close, and there's some outliers. There's some that you could say, hey, that's a handsome man, or that's a pretty woman, right? But they're outliers. They would never let him infiltrate it, because that's not, they want to represent that the normal person can do things, and then they get in there and they just screw things up because they're losers. Right? Losers lose. Been harping on that whole bear market.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm a pretty stubborn guy. I don't know. I'm a pretty stubborn guy, Matty B. I'm going to give it my damnedest, and I'm going to start at a local level. I see some opportunity at a local level. So, I'm going
I
after
think it'd be
it.
great.
Yeah, I'm going after it for sure. We are getting a little bit of what are we at? 96.1?
Yeah.
I had a long end from 95. I'm going to go ahead and take my proffies here.
That's a nice little reversal wick, if I ever saw one. This is on the 4-hour chart, heading down to 94.8, which we talked about. That would be a possible level of support. Back into this channel of descension. That's a shitty looking week there. That's 4 days in a row of
It's a shitty looking week for sure. And you can see it on I opened crypto Twitter and there was like content creators apologizing for having conviction and hope in their project or Bitcoin and stuff. I just think it's pathetic. I think it's absolutely pathetic. Like if you are having to apologize because the price has dipped a little bit, you weren't looking at the right technology. You were not looking at the correct thesis. You had flaws in your thesis all along. If your, DeFi protocol is going to basically be eviscerated on a 20% pullback, you never had a DeFi protocol. So it is what it is. Sam Altman, God.
Is this a real thing? Dangerous
What
path. Is he gay? Sam Altman husband fund startup to edit babies' genes?
I mean, I would bet he is gay. He carries himself like he's gay. You can be gay. That's fine. I'm not, I don't have like a huge problem. Just leave the kids out of the equation. Don't push your bullshit into, you're not normal. I'm not going to say that being gay is normal, but you are a human, right? I will acknowledge that. And keep it the fuck out of media. It has no place in aggregate media showing children that that's normal either, because it's not. It's a subsect of society.
And how about this? If you do adopt kids, adopt some girls for a change. What's with the gay guys and just adopting boys?
Yeah, that's also very, very sus. That is very, very sus. Lots of people freaking out. Saylor moved his a little bit of his Bitcoin to a new wallet, and I think a lot of what the Discover Crypto shows are going to be about today is digging into the actual MNAV rating, where it sits currently, not some post from last week, the week before, for strategy. Where's the MNAV? Where is the amount of debt that they have right now? Where is the liquidation level that Michael Saylor actually is sitting on? It's much, much lower than crypto Twitter leads people.
Isn't it like 12K?
It's very, very low. I think
is it lower than 12?
Very low. Yeah, I want to go look at it. I mean, because I can't remember exactly what it was, but when me and TJ looked at it a few weeks ago, I mean, I was like, oh, this, these people are fucking idiots, So, yeah, and on a cultural level, like this is why culture matters. Oh God, did you see that?
It doesn't exist anymore. It's a good thing I took a screenshot of it and sent to you.
He deleted it. Dude bought a Lamborghini with the Discord sign-up money that he's been getting, and then complains because they didn't send him a hat. They didn't send him home with a hat, so he's bitching like a fucking 3-year-old. Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic.
I went looking for it again.
Dick energy. Oh my
God. That isn't the one though. That's just the posturing.
Bro. That is like the bad omen of all bad omens. That picture that you just showed, that is the worst omen you could possibly have as a crypto influencer. Oh my God.
Let me see if I have it. I'm pretty sure I screenshot it.
Please, bro.
Posing in front of a Lambo. That is the quintessential signal.
Oh no, bro. This is BitBoy 2.0 in the making, dog.
No doubt.
Oh no.
I also sent you that crypto Jeb one. Like I don't want to dunk on any creators, but it's like he had a 30x long, at 100K or something, like a 30x long. So for any normal person, you go 30x long on in this market, you're gone. Like that, you were liquidated.
If you don't
so
have
fast.
a stop loss, you're going to get gutted. Yeah, I do 20 or 30x, but my stop loss is at 5%. If the trade fails, it fails. Like you can be out there with those levels, but please, for the love of God, use a stop loss. Jesus, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hopefully he survived that one.
What a bizarre flex that is. Like that is. You talk about tone deaf, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, dude, it's the same guy that like live streamed outside of a funeral, live streamed inside of the hospital while his wife was giving birth. Like, I mean, and it's not like these are things that actually happened. And I think he ran into Nick Diamond Nuts Demandi at Bitcoin.
Oh, really?
I think Nick ran into him in Bitcoin Nashville. Nick and him were in front of the Secret Service, and Lifer just loses his mind, just screaming at the top of his lungs at Nick, and like I think he had to get like ushered out of there or something like that. It was such a mess. And then I showed up like in my cowboy hat, like half drunk, like, woo, I'm ready to party. And Nick's like all worked up and shit. It was so funny. Oh, it was ridiculous. It was
What's going on with Nick Diamonds DeMonte?
He's hopping into the he comes from the movie industry. So he's dove back into that, and I'm staying tuned because it sounds like he's got some big potentials in the works on the movie industry side. So you know, he's got many different, he's a man of many layers, right? He's a man of many layers, and he offends a lot of people. I get it. You know, he offends a lot of people. Who is this? Is this a mystery person you put up on the screen?
No, I'm going into our our DMs, but I'm trying. I don't want to do anything. Oh, here it is. I got it. Okay, so I'm gonna. Oh, it came up. So I'm gonna go back, and I just didn't want to show some things that may not. Okay. The Gen Pop might not want to see. So this is it.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Lamborghini. Hi, I am a known YouTuber over 100,000 subs, and when I purchased Lamborghini from one in Sarasota, I did not get a gift bag of any kind. So at this point, you maybe have to think that maybe he's trolling like that nerd bomb with the ex-girlfriend.
Right.
Nick, right. Then it goes on. I was told I could take 2 free hats and was charged a shirt and a jacket. Is this the way customers are treated after spending over $250K? Is this normal, or was this just a location? I thought a customer would get a bag with a shirt and the hat. Maybe so at this point, it's like, it's got to be a troll, because who's buying a Lamborghini and like, where's my shirt and hat?
The fact he deleted it shows you it wasn't a troll, bro.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if he deleted it, because I went back into our DMs and I can't find it on his feed anymore. But when I click on the DM, which was a link to it, it comes up. So
here,
it's still here.
Sometimes it doesn't show up because it's a reply directly to someone. So hold on, let me pull it up on my
This was
side.
November 12th. Almost 10,000 views.
He left it up. He left it up.
Okay.
It's a reply.
I was appalled. Here's the car. Any way we can make this right.
Yeah. Just
Come
wait
on,
until
brah.
because you know he's gonna drive it around like to go get groceries and to go to everywhere. And you need a new transmission basically at like 10,000 miles for that thing. So just get ready for that post. Be like, I can't believe this scam. And it's the bear market now. I can't do this.
But this is a perfect example of the YouTube grift. I mean, this is affiliate links right here, right?
Yeah. Well, it's Discord, and it's like, it's fine to like have an affiliate, but how about like, don't be a dickhead about it and provide actual value for like a long time. Like maybe tell the truth to people about what you actually feel the market's going to do. This move, not a great look. Not a great look. And it doesn't serve me to crash out about it on my DC shows, but it's definitely on my mind. It's definitely on my mind. It's something that's it's a bad omen, bro. It's a bad omen. And that kind of mindset, the ungrateful mindset, is a sure way to be poor no matter how rich you get. Being ungrateful is a constant state of poorness. No matter how much money is in your bank, no matter what color your Lamborghini is, if you are ungrateful, you are not thankful for the time that you're given, it's definitely not a rich lifestyle. I would say that.
Yeah, I think maybe like to turn this around, hopefully he's put in enough time and dedication, and he's actually educated his affiliate link subs to, you know, become more financially literate, and maybe they made, you know, as much money as he did with the copycat trades, and then it's all a happy story. But, you know, it's not a good look.
The comments didn't look that way from his community. It looked like there was a lot of aggravation, you know.
Yeah, that's complete tone deafness.
Yeah. It's just the mindset. I mean, really what we take away is the mindset of ungratefulness is a sure way to remain poor in your own world forever, no matter how much money you can make. We've seen it, you know, crypto bros and the meme coin community, the ones on the inside group of these meme coin releases, they'll hit 10 million bucks. They still feel hollow inside. They still feel like they have nothing. And that's crazy for me to think about, but it's real. Am I going bald?
Yeah.
Or is that just, am I going
Well,
bald?
we baseline everything, right? So let's just take the life of an affiliate link high earner. right? So there's
Mhm.
I know some people who are like 10 grand a day on affiliate links. And at that point, the well is poisoned. So your motivation is different. It's to 10,000 is you remember back in the band days having zero money. So when you had let's say you saved $1,000, well that goes into shoebox and you now have zero, right? You just you don't really look at it like that. When you're making 10K a day on affiliate links, that's zero. So you have to in order to increase the lifestyle, you got to baseline 10K and probably put it up to 15. And at that point, you're really trading with poisonous money. So anytime it's not your money, you're bound to lose it because your risk appetite goes through the roof because you start thinking
less.
Yeah. It's like if I lose this 10K, who cares? It's plunk Tuesday morning, 8 a.m. It comes right back.
Right.
That's a very dangerous. That's why I always say every trader I know has always gone broke. Everyone, even the fabulously wealthy YouTubers that you see, they'll all eventually go broke if they have the affiliate links funding their accounts, which most of them do.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, they're just doing haphazard moves just to cause movements, right? And the best traders don't take too many trades. You know, there are some that I'm looking at right now potentially integrating, but I've spent about 2 months cross-checking their work, and I'm going to continue to cross-check their work before I implement them into the trading group because you really have to be careful about who you implement, right? Just creating activity for the fact of activity is a dangerous thing to do. Rockstar's Starkhole is talking about he's shilling Islam. Is that real? That's not real. That can't be real. No way. No way, bro. Is that real? Oh my god.
Well,
If it
isn't
is,
he?
this is war.
I don't think he shills Islam, but I don't know. I've never watched his stuff, but I do know that he's a very religious dude. So
I
unless
thought
he
so. That's
converted
why
to
it doesn't make
Islam,
any sense. Yeah. He says that he's very religious, right? But
look at that monthly nut here.
Not
That's
great, right? But we are falling
great.
into the guts of we are falling into the guts of that last shelf right now. So as I like my thesis flipping to short is at 89K. Very simply put. That 89K is where I basically inverse the graph. It's what Frankie Candles taught me to do like 4 or 5 years ago. You just flip the graph upside down because our minds understand and can better analyze things going up, right? And then with a drop down to midpoints of support and then going up from there. If you just flip this graph literally upside down, inverse the trading view graph, then it all makes perfect sense again. If you've learned how to trade in a bull market, and then we do get confirmation that we are now in a bear market, just reverse it. Okay, like Bob Ross. There we go. We're going to do a little bit of a change.
Happy little short. Happy little short. Scotty Mo says he throws off huge douche vibes like Ben. Now, here's what I always say. The disease is the cure. So he will probably learn a valuable lesson from it, and he'll course correct. Or lose everything, really, because to me, I don't know, as a community supporter, if you can kind of support like that. Look at this sales. That's almost $1 billion on November 12th here of outflows. 868 million. It's substantial.
That's a substantial amount. There's a substantial amount, and so cautiously optimistic is what I've been saying for the last few weeks. Ever since my wife looked at me at 126 grand and said, "This is the top, honey," you know. So I took a good chunk of profits, but then I closed down a lot of my trades and pulled a really good amount of tether from those trades off. Making the money slowly and protecting it quickly is how I've actually made money in crypto. It's not making it quickly. It does not happen quick.
So if we were to, end on a bullish fervor, I would like to see an incredible wick laid down from this morning's dump. Like we're talking like from 99 to 94. That's a $5,000 wick. And then a reversal back up into the weekend of monotony because we're not really good. We don't really do anything anymore. One of my lights are going out. Anyway, and then back into this channel of ascension. That would be my bullish fervor at 103.
Okay. Okay. I gotcha. It's an if this or that, if this then that type approach, and that's what we got to take into account right now. Looks like Rockstar Cola was in the Discord. He knows that is just. Oh, Rockstar Cola, I don't know how far I should go with this information right now. Should I go full Crusader on this? Is it time?
No,
Matty?
you know
Is the
what?
world ready?
The disease is the disease is the cure, and it's curing him, and it might take a while, but it's, you know, at the end of the day, yeah, who cares? You know what I mean? Like it's funny fodder, but we got bigger fish to fry, like this 50 moving average. So I've been saying this on your show too the past few weeks. So if we close underneath the 50 moving average, despite what the market's saying, this is a historical echo of what has happened in the past. And when we do close under the 50 moving average, essentially, it's over. Now we've thrown wicks underneath, and we've recovered. But generally, just to, you know, in case people are like, that doesn't make sense, Piano B, I don't really believe you. We'll go back to 2021. And here is that first wick we threw underneath it, recovered back up. And then as soon as we closed one, we did have a little bit of a rally, but that was Itski's. That was Itski's for the bull market. So it's just something to, now listen, things change, and, you know, who knows what will happen this time, but generally the echo of eternal bears is just that. Yeah. Now, Drew, tell them where they can find you if they don't know, and can you leave us with a little bit of bullish prowess, please?
Yeah, I mean, Bitcoin's going to $1 million, you guys. So if we do get a better sale on it, just take advantage of the sale, for God's sakes. Like, this is where, you know, the conviction in Bitcoin's going to win over all the numbers and all the charts me and Matty can put together and take analysis from other people we think are good. All that is going to lose against the time in the market that you could spend on the right project. So I am, you know, cautiously optimistic right now. I'm hedged in both positions, but Bitcoin's going to $1 million, and our dollar, our fiat currency, is going to continue to fail us. So please do be careful out there. There is a lot of stress on banking infrastructure in and of itself. So I don't feel any necessity to take all the money off and give it to a bank so that the bank can claim it for their own. That makes zero sense to me. And really, you know, at this time frame, the fearful will be forgotten, the brave will be remembered. And just take that to the bank. Over the next 10 years, this technology is going to act as a black hole of world finance. You can follow me at Druth Crypto on X. I'm on YouTube with Discover Crypto in the Blockchain Basement. I also host for Mario. I hosted a space with them last night. So you can find me all over the damn place. Look for the guy with the mullet and sometimes a cowboy hat. Today I got the wild, you know, skull night vision shirt. And I'm rocking it, man. I live bravely. You guys should take this idea of living bravely into your own hands. Everyone can do it. Treat your body well, treat your family well, treat your kids well, and everything's going to be just fine. Find actual wealth through your legacy. I love you all. Matty B is one of the best in the biz when it comes to long-term vision. I really appreciate you, Matty, and everything that you do for the community. It's very, very important.
Take care, everybody.
Make sure you like and subscribe and share